Welcome in, everyone. My name is Kiana Grant. I will be your host today. We are going to get started momentarily, but as we are waiting for a few more people to join in, if you would just drop in the chat where you are from, where your business is located, and what is your business. Tell us a little bit about your business, and we will get started in about 2 minutes. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's get off my screen really quickly. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kiana Grant, and I will be your host for today's Simple Step One presentation. And so, can everyone see my screen? Just want to make sure. I am moderating and hosting today, so please bear with me if I run into any technical difficulties. Also, thank you, Paula. Paula can see my screen. So, yeah, so let's kind of get right started. I do appreciate you all for being patient. I normally start right on time, but I was just kind of waiting. Like I said, I will be moderating and facilitating today by myself. So please just bear with me if I do run into any technical difficulties. So, I have been a SCORE mentor, and I'm with the Charlotte area. I've been with the SCORE organization for almost 2 years now. I am a certified mentor within our organization. And so SCORE is a really good resource for all of you who are interested in starting a business, or even if you've already started your business. We provide free resources that are funded through the SBA to help you get your business up and running. So if you are in the Charlotte area or one of the 17 surrounding counties, you can definitely go to www.score.org/Charlotte, and connect with our organization so we can get you connected with a mentor. And so the way that I typically do my facilitation is I'm very engaging. So please feel free to utilize the chat for any questions, comments, concerns, or anything that you want to share, talk about. Please feel free to use the chat feature. And so I did ask, and if you're just joining us, I did ask for you to drop in the chat your business, where you're located. And then also too, I didn't mention, but if you have any touch points, so if you are looking to, if you have an Instagram or a LinkedIn, a Facebook page, you all can go ahead and drop those links. You never know where your next customer or partner may be. So go ahead and drop those in the chat as well, so we can connect with your business through social media platforms and or websites. If you're not utilizing email marketing, your website is a great place to start to get prospect clients and customers. So email marketing. So if you have a website or email link, go ahead and drop those in the chat. And so we have Charlotte, Raleigh, Charlotte, Asheville, Indian Land, South Carolina, Rock Hill, South Carolina, San Bernardino, California. Hello, welcome. From Harlem, North Carolina. Awesome, awesome. So welcome in, guys. Welcome in. And so today is Simple Steps 1, starting your business. And let's go on through. Okay, so it's not a slideshow. All right, so a little bit about SCORE. Like I was saying before, SCORE is an entity, a nonprofit entity that is an arm of the SBA. We are all volunteers and successful and experienced business executives. So some of us, I am actually currently full-time. SCORE was once retirees, but we have seen a shift and a transition into our mentors, where a lot of us are actively either corporate employed or self-employed through entrepreneurship, and we're just helping our community, our small business community, really grow and scale based off of our expertise and experience. We do offer free mentoring, one-on-one mentoring, excuse me. Not so much through email. We definitely utilize virtual platforms like Zoom, Google Meet. And then we're kind of shifting back into in-person, but completely your preference based off of you and your mentor. So once again, if you are looking to connect and get a SCORE mentor, you can go to our local web address, which is score.org/Charlotte, and you can request a mentor there. Okay. So when we're thinking about starting a business, this is a process roadmap. And of course, we know that life business is not necessarily just in the singular format, but however, this does give us kind of like a blueprint of what it looks like when we're starting our business. So this session here, which is session 1, our startup basics, we're going to cover a lot of information in 2 hours. And I am going to add a break in there, but we're going to cover a good bit of information of just like the key foundational pieces we want to think about when we're starting a new business. I don't think that I asked, but also in the chat, drop your industry if you have it. So I see wellness, women wellness, excuse me, and life coaching. Can you provide the email anytime? Information technology. I'm going to come back to you, Anatara. Tech consulting, diverse coach. So yes, so your industries, right? So we're going to kind of talk about the different industries and how building a solid foundation is really going to help you scale your business. And I'm going to say congratulations too, right? Let me take a second and pause. You're starting. You are in attendance. Let me say that you are in attendance for a startup webinar at the end of the year. So that means that you will be equipping yourself for a really, really successful 2025. If you kind of follow this blueprint and these guidelines to really help you get your organization and your companies really organized and creating a really good plan for success. So are you ready? So startup basics, are you ready? And so I kind of talked about what we're going to be discussing. And so I just want to kind of just keep it moving. So some of the benefits of this workshop is going to help you develop a feasible plan, which is that strategic plan as to how will you go from an ideation of your business to actually getting revenue to actually scaling the business. We're going to walk through some of the decision making process. I'm going to ask questions. Like I said, I'm very engaging. So I'm going to ask questions and hopefully some of you feedback, maybe want to come off mute and actually share. But we're going to think about what does it look like to make decisions as a business owner. We're going to provide you with some information to help you make go, no go decisions in your business idea. Has the core information to create a complete business plan for bankers and investors. How many of you have a business plan? You can just do a thumbs up for me in the chat. We're going to talk about business plan and why we need a business plan. So, and we already did our introductions. Nice to meet you. Briefly tell us about yourself in 1 minute or less. So once again, my name is Kiana. I am based in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a self-employed full-time entrepreneur. My organization has been up and running since 2020. So I am 4 years into this. And so I have learned a lot. So I really do enjoy facilitating these classes because I really truly understand what it means to bootstrap and then turn that bootstrapping into a successful, viable business. So we're going to go through some myths and realities of entrepreneurship. Myth one, as an entrepreneur, you won't have to work that hard or put in such long hours. Can anyone, can anyone estimate, and if you're currently full-time in your business or part-time, how many hours per week do you currently spend in your business? How many hours per week? I just kind of want to see an idea of what that looks like. Yes, you will receive the slides, Leo. Leo, excuse me. How many hours per week are you currently spending? 40 to 50, Oliver, absolutely. 40. So it sounds like full-time hours, right? 40, absolutely. And so one of the reasons why this is a myth, especially if you are still kind of in the ideation phase of your business, is because everything relies on you. And so normally we're kind of used to the 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week work schedule where you come in, you do one singular thing, you clock out and you're ready to go home and you can hang it up. But unfortunately, with entrepreneurship and starting a new business, and also with startups in particularly, there are so many things that you have to learn. And so you find yourself working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And so if you are not putting in at least full-time hours for your business, I would highly suggest that you really get organized with your time and you really focus in on a time management skill set, because if you want to have a very successful business, 40 to 60 to 70 hours per week is not abnormal for a startup entrepreneur really trying to get some wind behind their business idea and seeing it take off. So myth number two, my product and or service is unique and there is no competition. I want to ask this question. How many of you have conducted any sort of market research for your business? And when I say market research, it doesn't have to be in depth, but if you've looked at your competitors, you've searched on Google, you've searched on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, any of the social media platforms, how many of you have searched for information about your industry? Yes, absolutely, right? And so the thing all around us, right? We're not sure that we fine tune who we offer to and really cater to those clients. So that is a myth because there's always competition. Myth number three, business owners can deduct everything so you won't have to pay taxes. Can someone come off of mute and tell me why they believe this is a myth? Let's see. Can you all come off of mute? Let's see. I'm moderating too, so let's see. Can you come off mute? Let's see. Can you come off mute? Allow you all to talk. Okay, yeah, hold on. Let me allow you all to talk really quickly. You're going to be muted, but you will have option to unmute now. Give me 1 second. And if anyone wants to come off mute, why is myth 3 about deducting everything a myth?
Can't you get flagged?
When you say get flagged, what do you mean?
Ain't it more of like a form of like trying to cheat out the taxes? Like, I don't know
Yes,
how
I
to say.
mean, so yes, you can get audited. Yes, you can get audited if you deduct everything, absolutely. But more specifically for a startup business, because there are some things that you do want to write off in your startup years, just because the revenue isn't really there. You don't want to be penalized for it or it to be seen as income when you're really trying to just get the business started. But the main reason why you do not want, or I don't want to say the main reason, but one of the reasons, especially in this presentation, why you do not want to deduct everything is because if you're asking for funding, you have to be able to show that your business can actually make money. So if you deduct everything on your taxes, it shows that your business is not viable. And so here it is really important for you to consult with a CPA, have a really good bookkeeper at the beginning stages of your business, so that way you know what to deduct and what not to deduct, and so that way your business on paper shows that it is able to make revenue, whether it is small revenue, large amounts of revenue. You want to be able to make sure that you can articulate on paper that, hey, I can make money from this business idea. So that's why we do not want to deduct everything. There are going to be some things that we want to deduct, but again, consulting with a tax professional, a CPA, someone who really understands business accounting is is very valuable for your business, and even in the beginning stages. Okay, myth number 4. As a business owner, you won't have a boss. So, can someone or in the chat drop some of your bosses that you have as a business owner? And I'm going to go and say my customers. My customers are one form of a boss, overarching boss in my business, because my customers tell me what services they are willing to pay for and how much they're willing to pay for them. So who else would be your bosses when you're thinking about what a boss does in the structure of employment? Who else can be considered a boss?
Investors.
Investors,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely. Partners, vendors, absolutely. Absolutely. So when we think about the fact that, yes, you are the business owner, yes, this is your business, these are your ideas, your passion, the notion that you do not have a boss is just untrue. There is always going to be something or someone that we have to answer to. Tax compliance, myth number 4, or even government, right? So if you are also, let me throw this in here, and this is not on here, but if you have created a new LLC in 2024, you do need to register yourself with finc.gov, which is the financial center for I lost my train of thought. It's the financial center. So basically, there's a new rule with new formed businesses. I'm going to drop it in the chat. But you need to make sure that you file yourself here. It's like a BOI. You file yourself here, so you do not get penalized in 2025, because I think the daily charges are like $250 a day. So if you filed your business this year, a new LLC this year, please go ahead and do the financial crimes thing. And this is all because of COVID, long story short, the PPP thing. They are doing checks and balances to make sure that businesses are legitimate, just in case we have another public health or some other world creation crazy thing happening, and they want to support small businesses, but they're not impacted by so much fraud. We all know that that was a fraudulent time. So yes, make sure that it is .gov. Absolutely. So the link that I put in, it is FINCEN.gov, is the financial government website. So make sure that it is .gov. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Nadia. I hope I said your name right. And myth number 5, business owners get to do whatever they want to do. This is absolutely 100% not true. I mean, let me backtrack. So you can do what you want to do, but if your market does not want a particular service or product, they're not going to buy it. So you can have it available, but it will not generate revenue. And so the reason why this is up here as a myth is because we want to be in business to make money. And so with that being said, you want to make sure that you are meeting market demand, what they are willing to pay for, how they're willing to pay for it, why they're willing to pay for it in order to keep your business going. So these are kind of the myths, 5 myths and realities of entrepreneurship. And so moving on, proper planning is key. So I read a stat a few weeks ago that said that 95% of the U.S. economy is comprised of small businesses. And so as an entrepreneur, someone who really enjoys not even just entrepreneurship, but small business and really helping businesses be sustainable, that lets me know one thing. We are the backbones of our economy. And so when we're thinking about that, the 95% is not these big corporations, right? It's our local businesses in our local communities that are really helping economic growth. We're employing people, we're giving back and creating jobs in the community, where we're adding value to the community. And so 95% of the US economy is comprised of small businesses. And so these two graphs, let's see if I can pull them both up at the same time. So these two graphs are a representation of what proper planning looks like for small businesses, right? So after 2 years, 76% of small businesses are deemed successful, and 24% are deemed as failure business or failed. And 9 times out of 10, when they say failed, that person, that business, that organization no longer is providing transaction within their business structure. So they're no longer receiving revenue. And I want to say that because just because it's not working right now doesn't mean it is a failing idea. You may just need to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to, can you mute please, Felicia? So I just wanted to make sure, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I say that just because, you're having to restructure, go back to the drawing board, brainstorm some more, doesn't mean that your business is failing or has failed. This is in response to you are no longer operating this business. So that's what these mean. Yes, you will get a copy of the recording. They're going to send it to you automatically, I think, within like 24 hours after we end. And so that's after 2 years, 24%. 50% after 5 years closes their doors. And so can someone tell me why they think the number changes so drastically within those 3 years? Why it goes from 24% to 50%, 2 years, 5 years? Anyone have an idea?
Would it be because you're able to capture the trends or lack thereof trends?
Okay, so trends, yes and no, yes. But I'm looking for a specific word when you say capture the trends. Where are you capturing trends at? Your business plan. That's why. Your business plan. So normally when you're creating your business plan, and if you have been Googling or hearing anything, you create a business plan and they typically say create it 4 or 5 years, right? And it's a working document. It's not a set in stone, it never moves again, but it helps you project what those first 5 years of your business will look like. And not from a revenue standpoint, which you can do some projections, but really from an operational standpoint. How will you operate from year 1 to year 5 to keep your business going? And so this is why this number changes so drastically within the first 5 years, is because the first 2 years, you're really just getting it going. But let's say you see an increase in revenue in the first 2 years of 65%, and now you have an influx of demand, but you didn't have mechanisms in place to scale to meet the demand. And so you didn't hire when it was time to hire. You didn't change processing, or let's say you don't have modern processing, so you're taking cash payments only, and everyone has tap to pay now. Think about the businesses that were able to adapt during COVID, and the ones that didn't. They're no longer. There's quite a few that are no longer with us because they weren't adaptable and they didn't plan for those risks. Not saying anyone had a way to tell or know that COVID was going to exist, but businesses that plan, they're able to adapt a lot quicker than businesses that don't. So this key here to proper planning is create your business plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the pieces. Focus on how will you show up and serve your clients for the first 5 years, and then work around that document. So when we're thinking about, do you have what it takes? These are a list, and of course this is not a complete list, a final list, but here are some things to kind of think about. Do you have some of these critical success factors, right? So education or experience in your field. Do you have a strong work ethic, effective time management, ability to manage and multitask, willingness to ask for help and take advice, and then adequate capital? There are a few things that I think that are missing on the list. So once again, in the chat, or you can come off of mute, but what would you add to this critical success factor? What do you think that you have that's different and not on this list that is going to allow you to be very successful in your own business? Anyone, someone, chat or off mute, doesn't matter to me.
I would say passion.
Let's see, we got anything in chat. Okay, absolutely passion. Let's see, knowing when to pivot when something doesn't work the way you thought. Absolutely. So being adaptable, right? So that's absolutely a critical success factor. Especially with the modern times that we live in, right? Social media changes things so quickly. There are trends, one moment, and then the next moment there aren't. They're no longer. They're no longer trending, or however you say that. So absolutely adaptability. Your why, yes, your why. Taking data to make the decision in the business. Absolutely. Using data. I'm definitely a data girl, so I definitely understand that. Being a client, a customer of your competitor. Okay. So, Carmen, I'm going to ask you to elaborate on being a client or customer of your competitor. What do you mean by that? You can come off mute or you can type it in the chat.
I just meant it's great to check out your competition and know
Absolutely.
what they're doing and that's working and what they're doing that's not working. And you can pick and choose from what they're doing to build your own business.
Absolutely. So we're going to deem that as market research. So having kind of real-time market research as the business owner, right? So that's absolutely good. Resiliency, support, interpersonal skills. Felicia, interpersonal skills, I think, is something that should absolutely be on this list. I think sometimes as we are growing a business as an entrepreneur, we forget that customer service actually matters. How do you treat people? How do people feel when they're interacting with you as the owner, you as the employee, your business online? Absolutely. So interpersonal skills. These are great, guys. We need to update this. These are absolutely critical success factors when it comes down to starting a business, running a business, and sustaining a business. All right. So, do you have the financial resources? So, these are some things to consider. And of course, this will not go for every business structure. These things on this list will not go for every industry. So, take what you need and leave what you don't. Tools and equipment. And when we're thinking about tools, let's see if they have it on here. No. Okay. So when we're thinking about tools and equipment, one of the things that I think should be broken down from this is software. Because we are in a modern technology advanced society, tools and equipment, depending on your business, could be physical tools. If you're in, If you're in those spaces where you physically need tools and equipment, absolutely you need to consider those things. But then also too, subscriptions, right? So software subscriptions, they're expensive. Zoom is not free to be able to do meetings longer than 30 minutes. No, 40. I believe their free subscription is 40 minutes. But if you have a virtual based business and you're doing consultations, you have to account for it. You're going to have to pay for that subscription to be able to have a full hour, 2 hour consultation, right? So things to consider: your subscriptions, your software, your processing fees, right? That's also a thing to consider. Using Stripe, Square, PayPal, you may charge $100, but they're going to charge you a part of that. So being able to really make sure that you have what you need to be successful and profitable. Leasehold improvements, if you have office space, physical space, licenses and permits, professional fees, initial inventory, and then working capital reserve fund. So these are some financial resources that to consider. They're not end all be all, but these are some things to consider. And we'll touch on financial considerations a little bit more into the presentation. Well, I guess it's the next slide. So when we're thinking about our financial considerations also too, let me ask in the chat, how many of us are full-time self-employed entrepreneurs? This has to work, or I'm gonna have to go back to work and get a job. Just drop a thumbs up. That's fine. Because when we're thinking about what we put into the basket of entrepreneurship, and I'm waiting for you all to show me thumbs up, thumbs down. Total monthly living costs, right? Stepping out there, no clients, no none of that. And I'm not telling you what to do, what you should not do, but these are things to consider. It gets tight when no revenue is coming in, right? No money's coming in. So have you considered what it takes for you to live and show up for work, which is your business, every day? Areas where you can cut back, outstanding debt, savings, and then this is really 6 to 12 months as emergency funds, right? Can you all hear me? I apologize. My internet is
Yes,
back and
we can.
forth. Thank you. Thank you. I
We noticed
apologize.
that, and we noticed that, and we hung on for you.
Okay, thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so financial considerations. Can you all still see my screen? You all should-
N-
There we go.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you all for being patient with me. Okay, so we were talking about financial considerations, and these are just some of the things to kind of consider, especially for our full-time self-employed people. And then if you are part-time within your business, these are still things to consider, because at some point you started your business so that way you could be your own boss. And so just because these are not your considerations now, it is perfectly okay to start planning for when, hey, I no longer have room for corporate or a 9 to 5 and the business, and I want to transition over. So these are some things to consider prior to, and if you are now self-employed 100%, these are some things to consider, and even now in your situation. All right, so we're going to talk about knowing your options when it comes down to businesses, right? And so starting a business essentially. And so I wish I could show all of these at one time. And so these are so starting a new business. So this is your idea. You don't have a blueprint for it. And so I'm not going to read these verbatim. You can take a look, and you will get a copy of the slide deck as well. But some of the advantages is it's your business. And so you get to create everything about it. You're pioneering this new business idea, which is amazing. And hats off to you, because that's what I've done. But the disadvantages is you don't have an existing customer base to build on. And so revenue is going to be very, very slow until you're able to build brand recognition and reputation. You're taking a bigger risk, and there's no track record. So there's difficulty in getting financing. However, there are workarounds to those things, and I'm not going to get into the whole financing piece, but where there's a will, there's a way. You may have to work a little harder, but there is still a way as a startup business for financing opportunities. So buying an existing business, there's a whole market out there that buys and sells existing businesses. And so, you have an established clientele. And let me backtrack. So when I'm saying buying an existing business, that's like if a mom and pop cleaners, the parents are retiring, they're, no one in the family wants to take it over, and they now want to sell this cleaner business, right? You can buy the business from them, not a franchise, but you can buy the business from them and keep it going, depending on their books and, if the risk makes sense. So that's what buying an existing business is talking about here. So you do have the established clientele, suppliers, known location. The business may be known for is known as a quantity with a proven formula. So they've been around for 60 years, and they know how to make it work. They've lasted through recessions and COVID and all of these things. So they have a proven formula how to keep the business afloat. You can review financial records. You can review financial records. And since the business has a track record, you could maybe even get more or increase odds on financing, because you can show longevity within the business's organization. And then here's a list of disadvantages for purchasing an existing business. There may be hidden issues, bad reputation, inventory no longer makes sense, employee issue, and there's no guarantee that success will come. But that's with any business, no guarantee with success. Buying a franchise. I do not have a lot of experience with franchise purchasing, but I did have a client through SCORE who was interested in franchising. And so I learned a lot about the whole process of franchising. And I will say one of the biggest advantage of franchising is you do not have to do a lot of marketing legwork. If anything, you just probably tell people that you are now the owner of this franchise. But businesses like Chick-fil-A's and McDonald's and Fast Signs, those are all franchise. You don't have to do much marketing to draw people into you, because they have already done that. And so buying a franchise could be a very good option if you're really into small business investing. Like you're a serial entrepreneur. You don't really want to start a new idea, but you just love the world of being able to have a franchise, jump in, operate it, manage it, and keep it moving. Some of the disadvantages of buying a franchise: you're limited freedom to make your own decisions. So you definitely have that corporate, someone over you. that's telling you what you can and cannot do because they want to ensure brand consistency. You pay ongoing royalty and other fees. So there are fees associated with franchising, and then contracts and franchise problems. So buying the franchise is a really neat setup. It just depends on the business owner, right? So it just kind of depends on what your goals are as far as what you want to do for entrepreneurship. And then home-based businesses, remote locations. So you have convenient work location, less overhead, flexible schedule, tax advantages, and you can hire people anywhere. So that's where a lot of VAs come in. And then some of the disadvantages: isolation from others, difficulty finding financing. I don't think that should be there. Family distraction should absolutely be there, because I work from home 3 days a week, and I will say I am always doing something other than work, unfortunately, because I'm working from home. And then, do you face zoning and or deed restrictions? And I think that that is a big thing to talk about, because HOAs have really cracked down as to what you can do in your home as a business. So making sure that you just kind of consider some of the legality and the ramifications of having a home-based business before you jump in, invest your time, energy, and money. Just make sure you do your due diligence when it comes down to home-based businesses, especially if you're in HOAs, zoning things, depending on what your business is. I would just do my due diligence before just jumping into anything, honestly. So nonprofits are listed as a business structure because they are. Nonprofits are businesses. They are taxed differently, and that is the only difference. Tatiana, you asked any specific example for HOA issues or what we should look for. So I I knew of a gentleman who was trying to do he was trying to do like fitness a fitness sort of business once before, and he wanted to be home based because he had, he was building his garage into like a gym like ordeal, and his HOA basically told him no because of the liability. So when you're thinking about what you're doing at home, consider, is there a liability for is there a liability for this business being at my home, at my address? And then also too, maybe just talking to your HOA and seeing if there are any clauses. Now, I wouldn't put my foot in my mouth and just go out and say, hey, I'm about to start a business. I'm about to start a business, and this is what I plan on doing. Is there anything I need to be concerned of? But maybe just saying, hey, do you have anything in place for home-based businesses? Can I take a look at it? So, just being mindful. I definitely think anything where you're requiring people to come to your home, consider that, because HOA is real strict with parking. Anything that's going to make the neighbors feel uncomfortable, I would definitely kind of like check into that. Anything that draws traffic to the neighborhood, so it just kind of depends on your HOA, but that's just something to consider when you are thinking about home-based businesses. And I hope that answers your questions, Tatiana. Okay, so nonprofit. I was saying nonprofits are businesses. They are just taxed differently. And so when we're thinking about the structure of a nonprofit, and if you have a nonprofit on this line, build your skill set on fundraising, like you doing the fundraising. Are there grants available? Absolutely. Will you get a lot of them? Probably not, because there's a lot of nonprofits. So getting into the habit of actively fundraising is and building that skill set, connecting with great fundraisers, people who understand what it takes to fundraise. That is something that I highly suggest if you're starting a nonprofit. Fundraise, and do it on your own, because that's your money. That is, your organization's money rather. And that's a skill set as a nonprofit executive director you absolutely should have. Absolutely. Online businesses. Okay, so that's another structure. Online businesses, e-commerce, lower startup costs, growing consumer acceptance to shop online, expanded geographic reach, convenience, and accessibility and flexibility. So the thing about online businesses, and this is something that I've learned about an online business, I would highly suggest if you are structuring your organization to be 100% online, I think that your biggest expense as a startup is going to be your website and your SEO. That is something, if you're solely online, you need to hire an expert if you're not an expert in that. Just because the competition online is, I mean, we all know what it's like to be online between social media, Google searches, Bing searches, DuckDuckGo, all of those things. If you're going to be a business solely based online, invest in a great website that has a great functionality, that is quick and speed, very eye catching, and then also invest in someone who understands how to do your SEO. Because other than that, it's going to be very challenging. Because online businesses, because there are low barriers to entry, anybody can go on and make a website. That is one of the things I'm gonna say about online businesses. It's absolutely doable, but make sure you invest in that online visibility. And so I'm going to pause here. We're about halfway through the slides. I'm going to pause here and see if we have any questions. Any questions? Let me go check the chat. Any questions that we have covered so far? No. Okay. So it looks like it is 1:17 my time. And what I am going to do is we're going to take a 3-minute break. We're halfway through our slides, and then the library will come on and show you all how to use some of their technologies that are for market research and to really support your businesses. Okay, hold on. Let's see. What if? Okay, so you have a hands-on business but want to sell products online. Come off mute for me if you can, Jocelyn, and kind of tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, I want to do full service salon, more of like get hair, massages, skincare, nails, that type of stuff. But as well as you want to do multiple product lines and you want to make your own product line, but you want to sell your products online too to reach people that don't come into your shop but also want to use your products. I mean, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you're asking about, and so you're presenting this question about what I'm referring to, what I said about an online business.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like you're hands-on, but you want to sell products online as well.
Yes. So, but your business would be based in person. So this online business structure doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't pertain to your business type, but because you will be providing services and someone has to come and see your retail, that is actually advantageous for your business because you can send them there. But if, as far as the online business, this means that this person has no type of physical place or space for a customer to go to. So that is like us shopping. I'm in Charlotte. That's like me purchasing from someone who is, that's like shopping from Temu. No one goes to Temu or Amazon to look at their products. This is solely an online business. And so what Amazon has done is, well, over the course of time, right? Because everybody knows who Amazon is. But what they've done, well, what they did was they created a very easy user platform. That SOE was probably immaculate in the first beginning stages. And so now they are the big corporate organization that they are now. So that's what I'm referring to when I'm thinking about online businesses. Think about Amazon. You cannot go to an Amazon store. You can only purchase online. And so that is what this online business is talking about.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. I think I had another. Nope, no other questions. Okay, so we're going to take a quick. Okay, so it's already 1:20. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. 1:22. We're going to come back and we're going to finish up the slides, and then I think the library should be ready by then. Okay, 2 minutes. All right, welcome back. 2 minutes. I know that went by really fast. Stop my share screen. All right. So now we are in our session where we're talking about components of owning a business. And so, as you know, as an entrepreneur, you wear every hat until you can create revenue to hire some of your hats, right? And so, these are some of the things that you consider when you're thinking about running your business or starting a business and running it and growing it to being a successful organization. So you have your accounting. I highly suggest if you do not have the capacity to hire a full-time accountant or bookkeeper, hire them part-time, even if you need to work part-time to supplement their support. This is a very important part of running a business that has access to more resources. And that's just what I'm gonna say about that. Human resourcing, marketing, sales, customer service, production, and fulfillment, and then technology and facilities. So these are kind of, the yellow, well, technology probably needs to be up here. Yes, these will get emailed to you. Excuse me. Technology probably should be in the blue just because of the world that we live in now. You can't really do much without technology, if anything. So, adding technology, but you do need to, I would highly suggest being or becoming skillful in the technology and softwares that you need for your business. Whether that is understanding, your website metrics, your your email campaigns, customer service surveys. Being skillful in what matters to your business is going to be so critical for your business success. and moving forward and being able to sustain the competition as well, right? Paying attention to the competition, but also being better than them. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to say. All right, so marketing. So marketing are strategies used to create a desire to purchase, creates and promotes your image and builds your brand, and your product or service will not sell itself. So tell me what you think about marketing. Tell me some of the strategies that you've used that you think are successful, and some of the things that you say, you know what, this absolutely doesn't work. Drop some of those in the chat or come off mute. Tell me what you think marketing entails for being successful. Because marketing is a bulk of the time that you should be focusing on in your business, honestly. Like a lot of the time. Strategies that you believe work or do not work to help grow your business. Social media works. Social media does work. Let's see. A TikToker. My daughter is on TikTok. I am not on TikTok. But I have heard that TikTok makes it a lot easier to market. What else? Email marketing. Email marketing absolutely works. Absolutely. Networking. Networking works. Not only social media, but a newsletter that you can connect with your audience no matter how the algorithm acts. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's, and I'm glad that you say that, Nadia, right? And so we know that social media works, and it does create buzz. It does create attention. It does create clicks, right? So those clicks to, what is it called? CTRs, click to something, I can't remember. But it does create word of mouth works. Yep. Connection with great customer service, postal marketing, 100% open rate. Absolutely. That's a great statistic too, right, Paula? Click through rate. Thank you, Nadia. Social media absolutely does work, and it does create that brand recognition. But one of the things that with marketing, you have to nurture even from social media, right? Like you can have a huge following, but if you create a call to action and nobody that follows you does that call to action, is it really effective? And I'm not going to get into my whole spiel about marketing and the myths and the myth busters about social media marketing per se or in particular. But the thing is with marketing is you want to create a strong desire to transact. And I know here it says purchase, but sometimes it's not just about creating a dollar from it. It could be those signups for your email so you can send those newsletters and you can start to really understand who your audience is and speak to those pain points. So the strategy is to create a desire. To me, it is a strategy or strategies used to create a desire to connect with your business, brand, products, and or services. So when you're thinking about your marketing and your strategies, social media is a tool or a vehicle, but we want to make sure that we are using almost any and every tool that we can to create that desire to interact with our businesses and connect. So I'm gonna leave that there. Radio, sports, internet, TV programs, vending events. Vending events do work as well. It can get pricey because you have to pay to be at these vending events. So making sure that you are strategic about what you are vending at or being a vendor at, making sure that that audience has the intent to come up to events to buy to. So just keep that in mind. But vending events absolutely do work. So when we're thinking about marketing, we also want to think about our brand. And so our branding is our name recognition, qualification of products and or services, our market identity, and then also advertising. And so it's more than just the logo. The brand is those feelings that someone gets when they say your business name, right? So Target versus Walmart. that branding. Target has a more upscale, uh, has a more upscale feel. That's why, it's nicknamed Target, and Walmart, maybe not so much. Radio spots. Okay. Absolutely. So paying for those radio ads, absolutely. But so when we're thinking about our branding, name recognition, McDonald's versus Chick-fil-A. So branding does matter. It's more than just a logo, but it's those feelings, that psychological attachment to the business that you want to create, establish, and sustain, so that way you can continuously build your reputation within your industry's market. Sales. Okay. So sales is also a skill set that one must develop in order to really be successful at entrepreneurship. And I will say that when I first started my business, I was not great at sales, which is really interesting to me because I've worked in retail when I was in undergrad, high school. I worked in retail, and I was always really good at sales in those spaces. But when it came down to my business, I saw that was definitely a skill set that I had to develop and learn. And even now, I'm still learning how to sell my business better, right? Because if I don't sell, I don't create invoices and I don't get paid. And so it's more than just my product is 10.99, here you go, right? It's about contact and connecting with your customers, making sure you speak to and articulate the value in your products and or services to your clients, and not only just clients but your audience. What do I want to say? So your audience matters when you're thinking about how you use sales and marketing as combining the two and creating a strategy from it. It's also how you find your prospects. And so when we're thinking about our sales for startups, and not even just startups, but just business in general, that's a skill set that I highly, highly recommend you nurture, develop, and you continuously get better at, because you may change services, you may change products, you encounter different clients and customers all the time. There's always an emerging market for your business. And so developing the sales skill set will help you continue to grow, build, sustain your business over the course of time. I'm not sure, why all of these bullets are here, but that's what sales is. And so here's a quick little self reflection. Do you have the skills? And so let's kind of walk through this, right? So are you weak in any area of business operation? And I won't have you put that in the chat. We will introspect that answer, but pick out the areas where you are not the strongest, right? And really identify them. And it's perfectly okay. We can do anything, we can't do everything. I really do live by that, right? And so, like I said, sales was not a great or was not a strong point for me. I'm passionate about what I do for a living, but sometimes when I'm in front of prospective clients, I didn't articulate it because I was afraid to ask for the money, right? And so any areas that you are weak in, or there's an area of opportunity to get better and skillful at, I suggest finding something online to help you get better, taking a class, professional development conference, anything like that, or even hiring, right? Because it may be something you don't even want to do. Maybe hiring, finding an intern. But just kind of think about the areas of your business operations where you have an opportunity to get better in, or hire someone to replace, because it all works together. And where you are weak at, it can hinder your success essentially, or your ability to grow. You may cap out. Can you take a course to improve your skills? I just said that. If there are duties that that don't fit your skills can you hire? I just said that. And even if you're skilled in all these roles, you won't have time to handle them all. So which are more important for your business, and what can you focus on, and what can you delegate? And delegating is going to be very, very important for, as a small business owner, entrepreneur, because you can't do everything. And then on top of that, you have your personal life, right? So you don't want to be burnt out, overwhelmed, stressed out because you're trying to do every single thing. Some things you will have to delegate out. And I think that's up for you to determine what that looks like for your business, your organization, for it to be successful. Okay, so other critical factors, location. Location can be a critical factor, depending on where you are and what your product and or service is, right? So I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina. I don't see a lot of I don't see a lot of water-based businesses, right? Being from the coastline, we love the water down there. I don't see a lot of that here in Charlotte because of location. So just make sure that if you are offering something that may not support a need for your current location, you do a really good job with website connecting, networking for where it does matter as far as location goes. Other critical factors, your target market and niche. Okay, I have a question for the group. There is a difference between target audience and target market. Can someone does anyone know the difference between the two? Let me start there. So target audience and target market, there is a difference between the two. Come off mute or put it in the chat. Okay, target audience will buy from you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, so Bill says market might be a geography like Charlotte, where audience could be more specific, woman 30 to 50. Okay. Bill, you're kind of there. So, and I would just flip it, right? So when I think about target audience, let's say parents, my target audience are parents, people who have children, moms and dads, right? So variety of ages for what you deem as a parent, and also too who calls themselves a parent, right? You could be a step parent, you could be a foster parent, you could be a widowed parent. So a parent is the audience. You have something that you want to speak to parents about. Within that audience, you're going to have markets of parents. So now you're niching down, you're fine tuning, right? So you could be preschool age parents, you could be empty nester parents. And so when you're thinking about your target audience and your target market, the audience is that big net. It's that big net. Women ages 30 to 50, right? And then your market is, are they single women? Are they married women? Are they women with children? And so you're fine tuning and you're niching down. And so this is a critical factor because you may offer something that a lot of people fall in your target audience for, right? But your market has different pain points. And so when you are thinking about your marketing strategy, tactic, your services, the need, who you're speaking to and how you are providing a solution to their problem, think about your market as, I am answering one of the many problems this service or product answers for you only. And so that's a very critical factor because it's not a one size fit all when it comes down to your business and who could be a potential client and or customer for you, right? And so I'm just going to say that again. Your audience is going to be that wide net. So if you are talking to college students, right? You have a product or service or something that college students really need, but then you want to market to you want to find your target market within that audience. That may be first-time college students. That may be the last college student leaving the house, or college students with full ride scholarships, college students with student loans. So when you're thinking about your audience, that is that big net. I can get all of these people. And then you start to really niche down your market based off of their specific needs, desires, and pain points. And that's how you use marketing strategy to really capture each market's attention, because now you've identified this market within this audience. They need XYZ, as where this one needs ABC. And I hope that's clear, because I can spend a lot of time on it. Any questions there? Because I kind of went off tangent. Sorry, y'all. Okay. And so other critical factors they have are competition. Competition matters. Absolutely. Research is important when it comes down to competition. Distribution, that is kind of more of our supply chain, making sure that, vendor relationships are up to par and constantly being audited. Is that the, do we have our library folk? Yolanda, are you here?
I am, yes.
Awesome. Okay, I'm almost finished up.
I can definitely wait
I'm
until
gonna
you're
stop
finished.
at the. Okay, you sure? Let's see.
Yes.
I got
yes.
like 18 more slides though.
I mean, I don't want to like interrupt your flow. So yeah, you can definitely go through your slides and I'll go after.
Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so other critical factors, price. Let me ask you all, how did you come up with your pricing? Someone come off chat. Come off me. I keep saying come off chat. Someone come off of mute and tell me, how did you come up with your pricing for one of your services or products? How did you come up with that pricing?
Market research.
Okay. And all right, so you say market research helped you come up with your pricing. And what were some of the things that you considered with your pricing upon your discovery?
Kind of what price point your market is buying at.
Okay. So, right, you want to figure out where your customer base is buying, but also when you're thinking about your price, consider what it takes for you to deliver your products and or services, right? So, let's take someone who makes food, right? Comparison to, let's say, how much is a large fry at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or whatever, right? So you go to a fast food place and you just want an order of fries, and let's say it is $2.99. Well, if I want something fast, quick, on my way, I probably want to spend $2.99 for some fries. But if I want gourmet fries that are hand cut, what they like to say, truffle butter on it and all of that other stuff, then I may be willing to spend a little bit more money on it, right? And so when we're thinking about our price, one of the things you want to make sure that you consider for your business is, what does it take for you to deliver this final product to the customer? Because yeah, they may only want to spend $2.99, but that's because they're in the drive-through. They're on their way home, or they're about to go sit in traffic from work, and they just need something to put in their stomach while to get them over, to get them through that transportation part, right? Or they may want to sit down and have a meal with their family with some really good sides. And so they're willing to spend a little extra, because that probably won't be little, but extra for the overall experience. So when you're thinking about your price, market research is absolutely important. But one of the things you want to consider is, does my price make sense for me? Because I may not be able to offer the same price as my competitors because I cannot produce it at the same rate that they're producing it at. And I hope that that is clear for you all when it comes down to pricing. All right, so competitors, and see, and it says assess your. I think it's supposed to be assess your your competitors, but the size of their operation and their number of employees, price and quality, reputation, personal visits and observations, suppliers and contractors. So yes, you do want to assess your competitors, but and I wouldn't spend so much time looking at what other people do that you get distracted from what you were or why you started your business, right? Because ultimately we can have the same customer. They may be willing to pay more here. Sometimes I shop at Walmart for cosmetics, and sometimes I go to Ulta. Same products, but sometimes I just want a different experience. Sometimes I need something quick, and sometimes I want to be able to, smell goods and walk around and all of that good stuff. So yes, competitors are important, but it shouldn't be your focal point with your business, because you also offer something that the market does not have because you're offering it. So it's a critical factor, but I wouldn't spend too much time on it. Okay, so making it legal. So here are some forms of business organizations, and I'm going to insert my own disclaimer. I am not anyone that has any legal background, certifications, licensing, or permits. So this is all used at your own caution. This is all suggestion. Can't come back and get Kiana, because I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just providing you with a brief overview of making it legal. Okay. So here are some forms of business organizations. You have sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, C Corp, and S Corp. So, if you are unsure which avenue you should use to legalize your business, consult a business attorney, please, or paralegal, but somebody who is licensed, someone that you may can go and actually sit with, so that way they can explain which each structure means. Excuse me, which each structure means, and really give you the best advice necessary for your business per se. And then recommendations, they say keep it simple. I'm not going to suggest any of these because I do not know what your situation is, but here are some things that you can consider. But once again, speak to a professional. This is a professional service. Find a business attorney, legal, someone who is licensed to speak to what is best recommended for yourself. And there's some things to consider: government regulations, business laws, labor laws, all of these good things. And then, like I said earlier today, and I'm actually going to drop that in the chat one more time, but if you created a new organization in and registered it with the North Carolina or wherever you are, your Secretary of State, because I know we have someone from California on here. But if you organized a new business with your Secretary of State in 2024, make sure you also go in and complete that, the financial requirements for fincin.gov. Make sure you pay attention to the .gov. It is a requirement. I'm a part of that.
I think you've frozen on us. Or is that just me?
It's not just you.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna send a message to her, see if she can get this. Maybe she's gonna come back in just a second.
This happened once before.
Oh, earlier today?
Yeah, about
okay.
an hour ago.
Okay. Sorry. And I did not ask to turn the sharing on, so I can't share the library's presentation with you right now. So wait till she comes back. But I guess I could go over just some information in general. Hopefully everybody has a library card. I know she mentioned that somebody is from California, so the information that I'm going to share a little later on is for Mecklenburg County residents or people that live in North Carolina. I'll only be talking about one resource that I know is specific to Mecklenburg County that we pay separately for, but everybody else in North Carolina should have access to the resources that we go over. Is everybody else, except for the one person in California, is there someone else who lives outside of North Carolina?
There's a few different ones: New York, Massachusetts, South Carolina, Texas, it looks like.
Okay. Wow.
I live in
Oh.
Hill.
I'm sorry, did you say Mint Hill?
Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Rock Hill. Okay. So Rock Hill, y'all do have some of the similar options. I'm not sure you would have access to Simply Analytics, but the resources that I'll be sharing, hopefully, looks like she gave me hosting privileges. So I'll go ahead and just start sharing my presentation. All right. And I'm just here to let everybody know about all the resources that are available through the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library, but most likely your library also has access to similar resources. All right. And so just the general question is, why should you have a library card if you are in business? Let me just make this full screen. Here we go. All right. So I know some of you have already mentioned some information about doing market research. Well, the library has resources that can help you fill in any gaps that you might have in that market research or in your business plan. And for your public library, oops, maybe it's not just her. Oh, I don't have sharing rights anymore. Never mind.
You all for sticking around. I have Spectrum, and so I don't know what's going on. So you were, so I'm gonna get through this quickly, so that way I can let the library, Miss Yolanda go. Let me not say the library. So I apologize once again, but thank you all for being patient with me. So what I was just saying is about insurance is making sure that even if you have LLCs, that you do have some form of insurance to help you or assist you, cover you. Let me say that. Cover you as you are transacting with clients, customers, because you just never know what may happen. And so insurance, these are some options to consider. And then also, once again, just to reiterate, you will get a copy of these slides in the slide deck presentation after the webinar is over, and then also a recording of the webinar as well. So that is going to include all of my bandwidth issues with this internet connection. So just keep that in mind. So just moving right along, and we're almost finished. Business plan basics. And I asked at the beginning of the webinar, how many of you had a business plan? And we kind of talked about the planning for success when it comes down to 24% after 2 years deemed as failed businesses and 50 after 5. And so briefly kind of going through a business plan, right? We want to consider why business plans are important. So they encourage an objective view. They help build a foundation for planning. Excuse me. They are a powerful management tool, and it communicates your idea as the owner or your ideas as the owner. But most importantly, I believe the importance of a business plan is to help you freely think about how you want to show up and serve your audience, your customers, your clients, right? How do you want to show up? Yes, you do need to file. Yes, absolutely. You do need to file. And so here are some table of contents of a business plan. And I'm not going to, section 1 is talking about the business. Section 2, financial forecast. And then section 3 are supporting details. This is what I'm going to say. This is not end all be all. These may not pertain to your business. And then also too, it depends on who the plan is for, right? So financial forecasts are going to be more so for those business investors, those bankers. You're trying to get a business loan, and you may need to have those projections inside of that. But if this is just to help you think about how you want to show up, and it's an operations manual for your business, you may not necessarily need financial forecasts, right? So, and it's just a guide to kind of consider when you're thinking about your business plan and what should be inside of it. And so, every business owner needs a banker, a lawyer, accountant, insurance agent, and business mentor. So, luckily, out of this list, you can get a free business mentor through SCORE. And so, I would highly encourage you to sign up with SCORE to getting a business mentor, no matter what stage you are in your business, to really have someone to brainstorm with, share ideas, and most importantly, as a mentor, we're able to share resources with you, right? So, you definitely need a business mentor to help you get started, help you stay started, and help you grow. A banker, absolutely build a relationship with your bank. That is who holds your money, and and that is also who has the potential to give you more money to grow your business. Your lawyer, we talked about that, the legal ramifications. Better safe than sorry. So having someone that is in professional services, that are licensed, all of those good things, bar certified, however that, whatever those requirements are, to really give you the best sound advice as to how to organize and handle disputes with your business, contracts, all of those things. We also talked about accountant and then insurance agent. And so this is kind of the last part of my presentation. And so these are some self-assessments that you can take to see if you're ready to start. To also, ask yourself, kind of going back to a few of the previous slides, where am I strong in as far as what I can do and show up for the business, and where are my areas of opportunity to where I may need to delegate, I may need to build a skill or develop a skill to really help me be successful in what I'm trying to do. And I will say, in my experience as a SCORE mentor, and then with me working with other executives within my own organization, I will say this. If you are starting a business, have a business, one of the best skills that you can start working on right now is time management. It is going to be vital because there are so many things that you have to do, and it can get very overwhelming. But time management, I think, is the first place that anyone should start, regardless. How do you manage your time? Because there are going to be so many things to check off and get done, and time management is really, really important to helping you be successful in this line of work. Entrepreneurship is not easy, but it is absolutely doable. But you have to get a grasp as to what you do. And so here are some homework questions that you can ask yourself. Having a business plan, a vision statement for your business, the overall purpose, describe your products and or services, and then what is important to your business. What are the values your business live by? So once again, you will get a copy of the slide deck. You will get a copy of this presentation. And I think, yeah, that's it for me. And I'm not sure if Miss Yolanda introduced herself while I was not available because of my internet. But Miss Yolanda is with the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. When we host our Simple Steps classes, the library also is a part. Okay, thank you. So they said you already started, Miss Yolanda, so I will not give an introduction to waste time. And I'm going to let you jump in. Yes, give me 1 second.
Thank you. And I was just telling them, I heard as you all were speaking that a lot of people aren't from or located in North Carolina, but I still think that a lot of the public libraries in your area should have access to some of these resources I'm talking about or something that's similar. So if you go to your library, there should be somebody there that can help guide you to some of these similar resources. All right, so we had gotten into how the library can help, and it can help you with filling in some gaps for your business plan. So we're going to go through that by taking a look at an example. So in this example, we're going to say that we're opening a pet supply store. And so if we're opening a store, we're going to need data. So I could do a quick survey of whether anybody has a pet. You can definitely answer if you'd like, but it is optional. But I'll go ahead and tell you that if I use a resource called ABI Inform Collection that's available through the library, you can find these reports on industry. They're called First Research Industry Profiles, which can tell you a lot about the industry in which you might be wanting to start a business. And this industry profile on pet care services lets us know that 70% of households in the US have at least one pet. So that's good information to know if you're going to provide a service to people who have pets. There's a lot of people out there that have them. So moving on from ABI Inform, we can find out more information about perhaps your competitors. I know you all mentioned doing some market research and finding out what your competitors are doing. Well, you can go to a resource called Data Axle Reference Solutions that will provide you with a database that provides a lot of information about industry and company information. It also has contact information for businesses. It'll have sales information and employee figures available. And you can also search if you already know your SIC or your NAICS code, you can use that to hopefully search for your specific industry and find out who out there is doing the same thing that you're doing. But as I already mentioned, it's probably, don't get too caught up in it, as we've already heard. But this is just a place where you can go to find out that information. So in our case, when we did our search for Data Axle, we found out that there are 269 businesses in Mecklenburg County that are already selling pet supplies. So those are our competitors right now. So, and I wanted to thank you, Tatiana, for answering about having a fur baby. To Bill, I do want to say we do have some separate services and databases specifically for nonprofits, and we have one-on-ones offered specifically for nonprofit searches as well. We can probably find out some information from these databases that I'm looking at right now to find out more information about nonprofits, but there are some that are specific to just nonprofits. While we're looking at setting up our pet supply store, we're still in Data Axle Reference Solutions. We can do a map of where all of those pet supply stores are located. And so we can see where our competitors are within the county or the location that we decide to search. So we might be able to identify maybe places where there aren't many pet stores, and maybe that would be a great place to set up our new store. Right. So we've looked at our competitors, but we also want to find out about our potential clients, our potential customers. And we can do that using Simply Analytics. Now, this is one resource that might be available just to those in Mecklenburg County. It is a paid resource. So unless your library is buying it, it is not, it might not be available at your library, but there is something similar for my North Carolina residents called Social Explorer. We won't go over this in this session, but it is available to you with your library card if you are a public library customer in North Carolina. I will let you know it's probably at the end of this, but you can set up a one-on-one session to go over business resources, and you can do that by going to the library's website and searching for business research. And you can register for one-on-ones through our online calendar. But using Simply Analytics, we can take a look at the demographic info in a specific area. This map is looking at Mecklenburg County. And so we want to, find that area where people who spend the most money on their pets, where they live, And that could also help us determine where we should set up our pet store. Within Simply Analytics, you get a lot of demographic information. As you can see, you can look at population, household size, and then you can also look at what people are spending their money on. And in this case, we can find out that in 2022, people in Mecklenburg County spent almost $500 million on pets. So that's a lot. And they spent almost $35 million on pet services. That is a big chunk of change for one county to be spending. So it seems like pet services might be a great place to get into the pet services building. Pet services might be a great opportunity or industry to get into in Mecklenburg County. So we've taken that information that we got from ABI and Inform and Data Axle Reference Solutions and Simply Analytics, and we know that there's $500 million in sales. We have 269 competitors. 70% of households have a pet. So if we take all of this into consideration, it looks like we can get about 1.8 million. That's how much each competitor, each pet supply store is making. That means that there's about 1,000 households that each competitor could service. And we could also get a list of businesses nearby to invite them to the grand opening if we wanted to do that. So these are why these resources can be useful to your business. Now, also, if we're looking at those maps that we took a look at Simply Analytics on the left and Data Axle on the right, this can really help us narrow down the specific areas of town with high spending and low competition. As I mentioned before, when we were looking at that map in Data Axle, we saw where all of our competitors were located. In Simply Analytics, we saw where all of our potential customers were located. And so we can look at those two maps and find out where there aren't too many pet supply stores, but there's a lot of pet owners to help us figure out where to best place our business. Now, I also want to mention in Simply Analytics, you can find out even more information than just about what they're spending on pets. You can get demographic information like age, race, language, and housing to also help you determine how you can reach those customers. And then once you figure out who your customers are, where they are, how do you decide what to say? So there are library resources that can help you out with that, including Masterfile Premier. It's a great resource that can help you find quotes from articles and experts that can give you real authority to any of your postings. Maybe if you put a quote on Instagram or you have a TikTok video that you want to focus in on based on an article that you found in Masterfile Premier, you can be confident that what you're sharing is fact-based and peer-reviewed information. Now, you can also find out information about your local news. If you are in Mecklenburg County, then the Charlotte Business Journal and the Charlotte Observer could be great for finding out what's going on locally. And then beyond just your business, you want to keep yourself professionally developed. And you can do that by using LinkedIn Learning, formerly lynda.com, and Universal Class. Both of those resources provide opportunities to enhance your skills. They have a lot of tutorials and curriculum in a wide range of fields and on a wide range of topics. Universal Class also has continuing education credit. So both of those resources are very useful, and you just need your library card number in order to access those. Now, if you are looking for kind of a group of similarly thinking people, you may want to use the Gale Directory Library. It has the Encyclopedia of Associations. So if you are a pet supply store owner and you are focused on, I don't know, exotic birds, maybe you want to find any association that might be associated with parrots. I'm not sure. But you can go to the Encyclopedia of Associations. You can look up these associations for parrots to find out if they're having a conference, and maybe you want to purchase a vending table at that conference to maybe promote your business there. So the Encyclopedia of Associations can be really helpful for you. Now, beyond those resources, and there are more available out there, this is just a quick preview of some that we use most often. But beyond those databases that you can find on cmlibrary.org and go to Research and Learn, you can find all of our resources there. But we also have our online calendar. As I mentioned before, you can register for a one-on-one session with a staff member to go over these business research resources when you have the time. And we also have different events that we promote on our calendar. As you can see, Simple Steps for Starting Your Business. We promote that on our online calendar, as well as other programs for business development. So we would love to have you all at our other programs that are available, and we'd love to have you for our one-on-ones as well. And beyond all of these resources that are databases, we are a library. So we do have books, both digital and physical, that can help you with your learning process and your business plans. So why should you have a library card when you're in business? We're going to help you fill in those business plan gaps. We're going to help you find customers, and we're going to help you say something new on social media. So we'd love to hear from you. Our contact information is listed below. I will drop my email address in chat again, but once again, probably the best way to get those one-on-ones is to go to our online calendar and sign up there. Did anybody have any questions about the library?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yolanda. It doesn't look like we have any questions. So we are scheduled till 2:30. And let's see, what time are we at? We are at 2:12. Is there any questions from the presentation that you would like for me to kind of go back and answer? Any topics you want me to develop on a little bit more? Anything before we go? Because I wholeheartedly believe in letting class out early. All right, going once, going twice. All right, so it doesn't look like we have any questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. So I want to thank everyone for being in participation today. I also want to thank you for your patience as my internet was going in and out today. So I really do thank you for staying on the line both times. I really appreciate that. Once again, if you are interested in getting a SCORE mentor through the Charlotte chapter, which we do support the 17 surrounding counties, please go to score.org /Charlotte, and you can request a mentor there. Other than that, I hope you all have a great Tuesday and an even better holiday season. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at admin@scorevolunteer.org. And other than that, you all have a great day. It was nice meeting you all. Thank you all so much. Yes, Paula, if you need a mentor, Charlotte chapter, you can go on our website and request one. And that's going to be score.org /Charlotte. I'm actually going to put it in the chat for you. You're welcome.